Oma Gyana Tamarandasya, Gyana Jana Sarakaya, Saksur. Omeditam, Jena Tasmai, Si Gurave Namaha. Suchetam Anobistam, Stafetam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa, Kadamayam, Dadati Swapadantikam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale, Semati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinam. Namaste, Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pajari, Swami Badi, Pachatya Disatari. Vanchakalpataribhya cha, kripasunabhya cha, patitanam pavanabhyo, vaishnavibhyo namam. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Segora Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I'm happy to be part of this group today, and we'll be sharing some ideas or strategies on how to create a balance in our devotional pursuit and our professional adventures. So here in Kali Yuga, this age, the present age is described as Kali Yuga by Srila Vyasadeva. This is there in Bhagavatam, in our own literature, translated by His Divine Grace, His Confounded Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. One of the major challenges that devoted practitioners face is that they find it difficult. A number of devotees, they find it difficult in terms of practicing their bhakti, practicing their sadhana, and at the same time engaging in their professions. So today we're going to explore on how to create that balance. And present a lot of shortcuts in the, and there are so many disturbances, distractions. When even for those who are trying to ages, we are very pious, and the environment was very serene. Environment was conducive for spiritual advancement, spiritual cultivation. In Kali Yuga, we have so many disturbances. We have so many distractions. And the environment is so charged with a lot of sinful energies. And so, how to remain protected at the same time, do our jobs, execute our professional jobs, our professional duties, and or while we practice Krishna consciousness. Now, it's a simple situation, a simple fact. A number of devotees are already doing this. And in fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a good example for us, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a government worker. He was a magistrate, and at the same time, he was helping with the management of the Puri temple in India, in Orissa.
Maharaj, I'm so sorry. There is a technical difficulty. I need you to stop for a second.
Okay.
Maharaj, I apologize sincerely. I sincerely apologize, but every few seconds my microphone in Russian. Вот опять, понимаете? Maharaj, Olga have fixed the Telegram translation, so we will try again with synchronized translation. Okay, I apologize sincerely for the inconvenience.
No, it's okay.
We will try again. So I will be muted in Zoom, and you please continue at your, 3/4 of your normal pace, please.
Okay, so should I continue from where I stopped?
Yes, please, about the Kali Yuga, the special age we're in.
Okay. So sorry for the interjection. This is a material world, and Kali Yuga, nothing is certain. So, so the Kali Yuga we're living in is characterized by very bad qualities. For instance, we are not able to concentrate for a long time. In Kali Yuga, our lives are very, very short. We live maybe, if someone lives for 100 years, that is a big boon. So we have so many negative factors militating or that are distracting us from being who we want to be. And therefore, to be able to perform devotional service or bhakti yoga, to engage in chanting and pursue our careers in a bigger society, it's a big challenge. But we can dissect this whole thing here today and provide some opportunities for us to be able to take advantage of to grow in our devotion as well as our professional development. It's called integration. Now, Srila Vyasadeva mentions in the Upanishad that we have to do this integration. These are not exactly his words, but these are the words of Srila Vyasadeva. He said we have to cultivate nations. It means professional development, whether professional development implies career work, or school, or whatever. And science in this text that Srila Vyasadeva delineates, science means devotional service to Krishna. Because there are two things that are involved here, and to bring them together is always a big problem. Sometimes people shy away from spiritual life because they think, I'm too busy. I don't have the time to do bhakti. I don't have the time to chant because I'm a medical doctor and I work 24 hours most days. So I don't have the time. Or I'm a chemical engineer and I stay in the factory washing the machines. I don't have time for spiritual life. The other time I have is to come back home and maybe sleep. So yes, we hear you. These are true problems. And the major defect in trying to be able to deal with these problems is that we fail woefully to appreciate the fact that the instruction given by Srila Vyasadeva in the Upanishad that we have to do both things side by side. We cannot neglect one thing and do only the other thing. Because if we do that, we will not have a balance. And sometimes we might be thinking we are missing out something because we never went onto the other side of the aisle. And so, in view of this, and to forestall this to prevent this type of dilemma, Srila Vyasadeva said, we have to conduct our lives in such a way that we are able to manage our spiritual life and our professional life, we are able to marry them together. And that is literally what we call integration in calculus. Calculus is very difficult, and integration is the very beginning of calculus. And integration means that you have to marry two things together without creating any distrust or without being distracted from both objectives, the ultimate objective of both cases. So here we have our spiritual life, cultivating bhakti, and here on the other side we have our professional development, whether we are in school or whether we are working. It is difficult. If someone tells you it's not difficult, they've not tried it. It is difficult. To integrate is difficult, just like integration in calculus is difficult. To perform devotion and at the same time pursue our life goals material life goals, it could be a challenge. But here is how to deal with it. In most cases, we give the complaint that we're not able to have a balance because we fail to use our 24 hours very effectively. In other words, we fail to manage our 24 hours nicely. I'll give you an example. There was this a friend of mine. About some years ago, I met him. I met this boy. At the time he was doing his medical studies. He was doing his specialization, MD. He's done his MBBS in India, so he got scholarship to come to America, and he was doing his specialization in Doctor of Medicine in one of the universities in Michigan, in Detroit. So he got attracted to me, and he was traveling with me to different places in the state, in Michigan State. And so we were going to a program, and he turned to me and asked, Maharaj, can I ask you a question? I said, come on. You, my friend, ask any question you may want or you desire. So he said, we medical doctors, we don't have the time to chant 16 rounds. We don't have the time to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra because we're very busy. We don't have the time. So I pointed out to him that he was not the first medical doctor in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We have many medical doctors who some days they work 24 hours around the clock in the hospitals. Yet they find out time to chant their 16 rounds. And I explained to him that the main problem is that majority of people who complain they don't have the time, they cannot create a balance between in their work and their devotion, is that they abuse their time. They abuse the 24 hours that Krishna has given to us. They abuse it. And abuse is a crime in most countries. If you abuse somebody, whether it's domestic abuse or social, sexual, financial abuse, or whatever, you could end up in jail. So here we are abusing 24 hours, and just because we don't have a police coming to check us, and then we complain that we don't have the time to perform our devotional practice. And therefore, we analyze this gentleman, this doctor's time, how he uses 24 hours. And before we get even to the middle, he alarmed. He said, oh, Maharaj, I'm sorry, I did not use my time properly. This is our situation. It's not only that, doctor. This is a situation of many people who claim they don't have the time to be able to perform their devotional activities and their profession, to execute their professional duties. Now, in Kali Yoga, we need professional duties. We need professional explorations, because if we are not professionally inclined or we're not professionally discharging our duties, in most cases, when you even present your spiritual topics to people, they will think that because you don't have anything to do with your life. And so you resorted to spirituality. But then if you are a professional, you have skills, when you talk to somebody and they realize, they understand your background, they will even listen to you more eagerly. Therefore, we need to embody ourselves with this appropriate technology of effective time management to be able to properly execute our professional duties and at the same time embark on daily sadhana. So how do we do that? The first thing Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that we should be self-regulated. Self-regulation is the key word. Regulate yourself. In fact, in the purport to that text, Srila Prabhupada mentions that even our eating needs to be regulated. Prabhupada said, when we eating, we take prasadam half the stomach, and 1/4 of the stomach, water, and the other 1/4, air. Why? Because this will put us on a leverage where we will not go to sleep just after eating because we feel light. And if in fact, when you follow this standard, at the time you finish eating, you are still feeling hungry. So lunch, you will be able to eat lunch when the lunch is ready. And you will be agile. You will be focused on whatever you're doing. You will not sit down and try in the office doing your work and you feel sleepy. Or you will not feel sleepy when you're driving. Or when you're doing some type of spiritual activity. Say you're doing doing puja, you're doing some afternoon puja, and then you're feeling sleepy before the deities. So this very gross principle of regulating how we eat helps us in a very wonderful way to create a proper balance in our daily lives in terms of how we are focused on whatever we're doing because the stomach does not weigh us down. I have been in the system for over 40 years. And even as a young brahmachari, I've seen in some temples that I've stayed that some devotees finish eating and then they just lie by their back and then they sleep off because they did not follow what Prabhupada has prescribed in terms of how to regulate our eating habits. If you fill the whole stomach with food, that's what happens. You finish eating, the body becomes so weak when digestion starts and you go to sleep. And you may sleep more than what you anticipated. In this way, you spoil your day. So Prabhupada mentions we have to be self-regulated in terms of what we eat. Self-regulated also in terms of how much sleep we embark on, when to sleep, when to be awake. So Krishna mentions about this self-regulation in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, in management and social sciences, or even in psychology, there are theories or models of self-regulation. And therefore, what Krishna mentions in the Gita, it is a universal principle because researchers have conducted studies on this principle of self-regulation and they have come up with amazing reports on how self-regulation helps in promoting creativity, in promoting high performance, etc. Therefore, we need to understand the statements of the Shrutis and the Smriti Shastras are scientific. In fact, even our movement, the Hare Krishna movement, is founded on the basis of science. Lord Chaitanya found this movement on what we know in management science as synergy. Synergy is a management science model which brings to bear that when two or more people come together to do a particular thing, the result is always greater than individuals doing that same thing and bringing the results of those individuals together. This is called synergy. Lord Chaitanya wanted us to come together.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. That
Yes.
was way too quick because I'm not familiar with this concept. Could you please repeat it a little bit slower? So the individuals, if you bring the results of individuals together that is better than the.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just not familiar with this concept, so I
Yeah.
lost the track of the thought. Could
All
you
right.
please? Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you. Synergy. I mean, Lord Chaitanya founded this movement on the principle of synergy. Lord Chaitanya said that we should come together, congregational chanting, congregational harinam. Congregational, why did Lord Chaitanya not just say, stay in your homes, lock up yourselves in your respective rooms, and just chant to the top of your voice? He didn't say so. He said, come together and chant together. Congregationally, go on Harinam congregationally. This is because when people come together to do a particular thing, the result is greater than that individuals doing that same thing and bringing the results of those individuals together. This is called synergy. Again, synergy means that when we do something collectively, the result is always greater than individuals doing that same thing separately. Is it okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Now I got the concept. The speed is a bit high for me, but I got the concept and I translated it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so we need, as a basic principle, to understand that if we hear Prabhupada sometimes says, this Hare Krishna movement, this Krishna consciousness is a science. And so this is the understanding of why Prabhupada would say that this Krishna consciousness is a science, because the Sankirtan movement or congregational chanting has a scientific connotation. It's based on a science model that is called synergy. This is not surprising. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the embodiment of Radha and Krishna. And so for the Lord to establish a movement that is based on science, it's not amazing. The Lord is a supreme scientist.
Maharaj, that's too fast for me to find the equivalent and translate. I'm sorry, you have to slow down. I got the concept, but from then on, please just slow down, okay? Because I mean, it's beautiful. I just want to do it a justice. And when you speak at your normal speed, it's very hard for me to quickly find equivalent of it.
So I was saying, Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya is the embodiment of Radha and Krishna. And so when Lord Chaitanya advented on this planet and he inaugurated or he established the congregational chanting, the Sankirtan movement, and this Sankirtan movement is founded on the basis of synergy. Lord Chaitanya, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the supreme scientist. And because he's the supreme scientist, it is not surprising that he founded a movement, supposedly religious or spiritual movement, that is based on scientific values. No, in other words, this movement was founded on the principle of synergy, and Lord Chaitanya, because he's the supreme scientist, being the supreme personality of Godhead himself, this is not a surprise because he is the embodiment of all sciences. So we need to be appreciative of what Prabhupada has given to us and implement every details as much as we can so that we'll be able to achieve the ultimate goal, Krishna Prema Pumato Maha, despite all of the Kali Yoga challenges. Because the tools that Prabhupada has given to us in terms of self-regulation, one of them is that we should go to bed on time. We go to bed on time. Why? Why can't I just stay watch television, watch movies till 2 o'clock before I go to sleep. This is the reason why we need to go to bed on time. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 12 midnight, those 2 hours are the most essential hours for body rejuvenation when we go to sleep. So if we sleep before 10 o'clock, we can have a lot of strength to be able to wake up early in the morning, say 4 o'clock, and embark or perform some spiritual practice, some sadhana, chanting, for instance. When we eat less in the evening, especially grains, we should avoid eating heavy grains in the night. Why? Because heavy grains, during digestion, the energy that is required for the digestion, in most cases, is drawn from the brain, from the brain, and so this creates a weakness in our system. And so, if we eat, say, plenty of chickpeas in the night, or plenty of dal in the night, I can guarantee you that we will not be able to wake up at 4 o'clock. So, one of the requirements in terms of the self-regulation is that we eat light food in the evening so that our body is light when we go to sleep. Why? So that we will be able to wake up early in the morning without difficulties to perform our devotional sadhana, to perform our japa, our chanting, before we go out to the field of work or to the field of study. This is like a staple food that any worker, any professional needs to take before going to work. If you go to work fasting, it might be a good thing, but at some point in time, you will be inattentive. You will feel hungry and inattentive to your work. You may even screw up. You may even blunder. You may even make mistakes because your belly is biting, asking for food. So we eat in the morning. At least some people, they take some light food or milk before they go out. This is to create some type of balance in the body so that we are able to concentrate on whatever we have to do. This is part of self-regulation. And if the devotee at least understands that the chanting is like the breakfast, the chanting in the morning is like the breakfast that we take before going to work. And the chanting help us to be very focused throughout the day in pursuance or as we go out executing our duties, our professional duties. And in this way, we will not have any difficulties in terms of balancing our sadhana and our profession. If we don't chant, or if we keep awake until 2 o'clock in the morning before we go to bed, most likely we will not be able to wake up at 4 o'clock because the body needs about 6 hours or more for resting. Some people, Prabhupada prescribe 6 hours. We used to go to bed when I was younger, brahmachari. We go to bed at 3 o'clock and wake up we go to bed at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. And then we wake up, the temple commander rings the bell and everybody wakes up at 3 a.m. In that way, we are able to take proper time for chanting before Mangalati, and after Mangalati, we chant our remaining rounds. So And that way, those of us who have to go out for different duties, like Sankirtan, book distribution, or those who go to work, they don't have problem with anxiety that, oh, have not chanted my rounds, oh, have not chanted my rounds. And even what they have to do, it's not done with focus because they are in anxiety. So, similarly, the devotees who are practicing in Kali Yoga, we have to understand we don't have the luxury of self-regulation. And we need to be told that this is a process that we need to practice, to go to bed on time, to eat less in in the evening. In fact, eat 2 hours before going to bed. In that way, the food must have been digested before you go to bed, and it will not have adverse effect. Digestion will not have adverse effect on the body, creating so much weakness that will interfere with waking up early. So this is the whole idea about being regulated in eating to help with our sadhana. Also, when we regulate how we use the smartphones. In Kali Yoga, we are blessed with a digital system, the internet, and smartphones. Now, I've seen so many books written by different professors on the smartphone and the internet. How the smartphone and the internet has caused even some students to fail out from university. I know of people who got sacked from their jobs because of internet. Again, self-regulation. When we are self-regulated, we'll be able to know what time we have to use the internet, what time we have to use our phones. It's not that we put our phones on all through the 24 hours. In some countries, you cannot receive or make a call, private call, when you are in the office, during office hours. And if that is the case, why would you receive a call when you are doing your japa? Or why would you make a call when you are doing your japa? When you're doing your chanting in the morning? Therefore, you shut down your phone and you can chant with a focus without expecting calls to interfere with your chanting. So in this way, we can create a positive change in our lives for a viable professional and devotional future by creating this balance, checks and balances in our lives with self-regulation, effective time management. We can really become focused on both sides, on our sadhana and our professional development or career development or school, whatever. So maybe we can give some time for questions and answers, and based on that, we can speak more on this. Yes? Any comments or questions?
Иван Галатович, у меня есть вопрос, можно я сейчас устно задам?
Конечно.
Мгм. Дорогой Махарадж, статистика такова, что, допустим, для того, чтобы заниматься какой-то физической нагрузкой, фитнесом, для большой части людей важен тренер. И в этом случае, в какой части духовной практики важна самодисциплина, а в какой части важно именно какие-то аспекты делать под руководством?
So, Maharaj, it's a common knowledge that even in the fitness routine, if you want to reach some goal in the fitness routine, you need a coach. So you were speaking about the self-discipline, basically. So in the devotional practice, where are the place of the self-discipline, and where are the place where we actually need somebody to do this under their guidance?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Nandarani. Now, yes, in all spheres of existence, we need some guidance. And the self-regulation and effective time management, they are important for the learner as well as the mentor. The mentor and the mentee, they need to be self-regulated, because the self-regulation is the key factor that helps us to navigate through the challenges of Kali Yuga. And yes, we need someone to guide us in all these principles. Even the very principle of self-regulation, we need someone to guide us. And that is when that is where the concept of spiritual guidance, spiritual mentor, spiritual master in devotional life comes in. We need to be guided. See, I mean, right now I'm in London. Yesterday we had a program with some professionals at a place, one of these public forums, and one of the attendees, the question that he posed was how to make progress. The same problem that we're talking about now. How to make progress in this 21st century where people overeat. In fact, if you go to the hospitals, majority of the diseases are due to overeating. And I know the case in America. So whether we are doing, for instance, a PhD in a university, or we are trying to become medical doctors, we need some guidance. Similarly, in spiritual life, to be able to have these practices put in place, we need some guidance. And in fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself says we need guidance in spiritual life. In the words of Lord Krishna, he said, "Tad vidi pranipathena pariprasnena sevaya opadakshanti te jnana jnanina tattvadasha." The translation is that we should try to learn the truth by the ultimate truth by approaching a spiritual master. Why? Because the spiritual mentor or the spiritual teacher, the guru, he is self-realized, and he can give us directions on how to become self-realized, on how to become, it's like use after you finish your, for instance, if you finish in India, they have this process, this system of MBBS. When you finish your MBBS, you are called a doctor. But for you to go and practice, you need to go and serve under a specialist in a specific hospital or clinic to be able to get your MD. Yes, you have your MBBS, but you need to get your MD to be able to practice medicine. Similarly, you, after getting your law degree, you need to go to practice under some specialist, some lawyer, to be able to enable you to go to practice. And so spiritual life is also like that. We need some guidance, and that is when we are able to be practically instructed or given some directions on how to execute all of these principles that Lord Krishna and the acharyas are given to us in the Shruti Sastra and the Smriti Sastra. So yes, we need guidance. We need guidance in all that we do, because one head alone is not enough. For one to graduate in any particular field, we need guidance. You go to the university, you need guidance. You go to any place, you need guidance. Spiritual life, we need guidance. So yes, we need a mentor to help us in navigating through the challenges of Kali Yuga with the help of effectively managing our time and self-regulation as given or as propounded by Lord Krishna. Thank you, Nandarani.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yes, any other question?
Надарани Матаджи, хотите, чтобы я ему еще рассказала, где есть место каково место самодисциплины, а каково место руководства? Я ему сказала, он ответил на ваш вопрос полностью, то есть вам
Он разделил важность, а вы, пожалуйста, скажите, пожалуйста, еще раз. Спасибо.
Да. Maharaj,
Yeah.
you have answered beautifully. It's brilliant. However, Nadarani Mataji wanted to say more specifically, where is the place to the... I understand that you said that the place of guidance is everywhere, but she says, where is the sama discipline is more important, let's say like this, yeah? And where is the guidance is more important? How do they... I understand you answered in your own way. I just wanted to clarify for Nadarani Mataji that this.
Can you repeat that, Lavanga?
You said that the importance of having a mentor, having a direction is in every sphere of life, right? But her question was a little bit more, where is self-discipline is more important than where is the guidance is more important? Maybe you should re-emphasize that the guidance is important in every sphere of life or something like this. So
okay.
Clarifying
Yeah. No matter how we are self-disciplined, we need guidance. We need guidance to be able to facilitate an expedited or a quick positive change. We need guidance to be able to help us even in the process of self-discipline. We need guidance. People go to the gym and there are people there, personal trainers who have to put you through. Yes, you are self-disciplined. You go through with all the stuff, but then the personal trainer guides you on how to put your legs, how to put your hands, how to where to look when you're doing this exercise, and what you need to have at the back of your mind, your mindset. So yeah, the spiritual guidance is the most important factor in spiritual life. In fact, with the spiritual guidance, then the other things, the other requirements, all other requirements are subsumed in spiritual guidance. If I understand you correctly, and if this makes some sense. Nandarani, does it make some sense?
Да. Thank you very much.
All right. Why the spiritual guidance is important? Look at the case of Arjuna. Arjuna is such an elevated soul, but he got He had so much knowledge. He's a generalissimo in the army. He has so much knowledge. But at some point in time, he was confused. So you might be highly self-disciplined. But at some point in time, just like Arjuna was confused, even Lord Brahma, he got confused. So yeah, this is why we need some spiritual guidance. The spiritual guide helps in demystifying our confusions and repositioning us on the proper path to self-realization. Yeah. Does it make sense, Nandarani?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, any other comments or questions?
Я вопрос задать могу?
Как-то Бьорн, он поднял руку уже.
Все. Все. Ага.
А вы следующий, да? Okay, so we'll do the Bhakta Bjorn Prabhu, and
Okay.
then Ola, I'm sorry, Ila, Lim, Mrs. Lim, Mrs. Lim will ask her.
Yes, Bolo.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Maharaj, for the class. My obeisances to you, to all of you. There's another lecture that has been some weeks or months ago, where you also said that we have a scientific movement, and you can prove every principle that we have in Krishna consciousness scientifically. So I wanted to know, what does the science from today say about reincarnation?
Huh?
What does the science of today say about reincarnation?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, thank you, Bjorn. Now, the reincarnation, look at it. It is there in our Vedic literature, but sometimes people think, oh, this is Hindu belief. We don't believe in that. But see, psychologists accept reincarnation. Why? Because they have performed experiments. There is an experiment that is referred to as regression. Someone, a specialist, can regress the client or the patient to past lives. And then they verify what this person says. So they regress the individual to past life, and then they go to this. So the individual says, oh, in my past, I was born in this place. This is the name of my compound. This is the name of my my father, my mother. I had a brother like this and all these things. So, researchers, they've conducted those type of studies. And then they found that reincarnation is real. Yeah. Yeah, so reincarnation is a science. Yeah. So thank you, Bjorn, for bringing up this. Thank you.
Thank you, amazing.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
Ладно, я тогда в зуме задам, хорошо? Вы переведете? Вот у меня такой вопрос, Махарадж. Вы сказали, что нам нужно духовное руководство всем, но бывает так, что вот у меня, например, мало внутри доверия к людям, и мне сложно выбрать человека, за которым к которому мне придется прислушиваться, и как же вот выбрать этого человека, чтобы было вот это духовное руководство правильно, чтобы ему вот доверять, как развить доверие.
So, Olga Mataji says that she has difficulties, so many people, and to establish trust is not a simple task. How can I develop that trust and choose a particular person who will be suitable for my spiritual guidance? Because you said we all need the spiritual guidance. So how to basically, she said, my question boils down to how to establish trust.
Okay, that's a very nice question. Trust is a big thing in the whole world, and in leadership, in spiritual life, In relationships, trust is a big thing. Now, very good point you raised. A first principle, I can give you some ideas on how to be able to develop trust. Now, for you to develop trust in somebody, first of all, we have to see what is his competency, or what is her competency. Competency here means that, for instance, a doctor went to medical school and she gets certification to practice medicine. So someone is, say, a surgeon. A surgeon uses knife to cut your body, but you trust them. you trust the surgeon, because you know this person is trained, he's authorized by the government, he got certification, he is competent. So competency, we have to look at competency. What is the competency of this person that will enable me to trust them? If someone is not competent, and for instance, in spiritual life, Lord Krishna mentions about the self-realized soul. We should approach a self-realized soul or spiritual master. We have to look out. Is this person competent? Can he give me Krishna? Can he or she take me home back to God? Because again, in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that one should not be a spiritual master, one should not be a worshipable demigod, one should not be a teacher, one should not be a parent. If that person is not in a position to deliver the dependents from the circle of birth and death. So this is one great strategy you can use. Competency. Now, the other point is caring. Is this person caring? If someone is not caring, how will you repose your trust in them? Okay, you are in a problem and this person doesn't really care. All that they want is to engage you, give me this, provide this, do this service, do that service. But if the person is caring, automatically that invokes our love and affection for that person. We will trust that person. Third is consistency. Is this person reliable? Someone is a pujari, okay? And they don't miss to do their service. You can bank on them. If even you're not there, you're traveling, say you're the temple president, you're traveling, you don't have any fears that this person will do their service, will attend to the deities. So if the person is consistent in what they are doing, is consistent in their love and affection, is consistent in their duties, then you can trust that person. Confidentiality. This person, can I tell my secrets? Can I tell my challenges? And he or she will keep it to themselves. If this is a major problem, because I've seen people who like literally become disgusted with a community because they tell their problem to somebody and the person takes them to the street. He wants to talk about their problem with other people. This is a betrayal of trust. So confidentiality is so important. If we tell, in fact, Rupa Goswami says that we should have a confidant in our lives, someone we can share our challenges with or share our excitement with. If we have a problem, we should trust somebody to be able to share that problem with. And why do we need to share our problems with a confidant? It is because when we share the problem, the trauma that comes with that problem is reduced almost to half just by speaking out, having someone you love, someone you trust to be able to share those challenges with. So The major thing we have to look out for is just these basic principles, basic qualities, these characteristics, these traits. We have to look out for these traits before we invest our trust in somebody. Trust is a big theme in management studies. And therefore, there's a whole lot of literature that is devoted to trust. Trust in banking, trust in relationship, trust in management, trust in leadership, trust in communities. So it's a big thing. And therefore, we have to know that this C's, this competency, caring, confidentiality, etc., are means to be able to empower us, to enable us to trust somebody. If the person does not fill these provisions, and then we might be taking a risk to trust because they may betray us. Does it make sense, Olia?
Я хотела еще как под вопрос такое сделать. А вот просто в наше время сейчас люди очень искусно умеют скрывать разные вещи. И вот как с этим быть?
So, Maharaj, this is just the branch of that main question. In our times, in our times, people are. Okay, Maharaj, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now? Okay.
Yeah.
In our times, people are so artful in the deceit, in the art of deceit.
Yeah.
So, and we may not exactly know what we're dealing with. So, how to deal with deceit when people just hide those qualities or emulate them deceitfully?
Yeah. This deceptiveness is just a common thing in Kali Yoga. Now, how to deal with deceit, how to check deceit is pretty simple. Get close to the person. Say, you're afraid this person may deceive you, they're just pretending, so that they can invoke your trust or invoke your love and affection. Now, try them. Say, let me take confidentiality, for instance. Try the person with confidentiality. Tell this person a little thing about yourself. A little thing. And see whether they keep it to themselves. If they keep that little confidential matter to themselves, know that that person can be trusted. He's not going to let you down. I've seen even in our own movement where people become devastated and even leave because they tell something to a senior person or they tell something to their mentor, and the senior person goes to share that information with other people for no apparent reason. So the way to check deceit or the fear of being deceived is utilize the tool of confidentiality. Give them small things, small things, and see whether they keep it to themselves. If they keep it to themselves, you should not fear, because this is the most important aspect of it all. Someone can be very competent and they may not have that high profile confidentiality check. But confidentiality is so important. And therefore, we use this tool in trying to determine who is to be trusted and who is just pretending, whether they will let us down, they will deceive us. So use confidentiality to check a blueprint. Yes.
Используйте, one second, Maharaj, используйте вот эту возможность. Okay, Maharaj. Okay, Maharaj, we're ready for you. Please, Bhakti Bjorn. Oh no, Nandarani Mataji has a question that she sent to me. Can I read it? And then Bhakti Bjorn. Prabhu, do you mind? Because there is from somebody who is listening online. I hope you don't mind.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So the person Nandarani Mataji has forwarded the question. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Nandarani Mataji. She said, "Do I understand correctly that the most effective protection from the Maya's baiting us, it's a very good quality japa in the morning hours. How practically does that realized? For example, after good quality japa, will the my sinful desires are not going to come into my mind, or how because of the good japa I will have strength of my will to withstand the slew of my sinful desires. Is there a chance that devotee who is not practicing the morning japa will still be able to free himself from the influence of Maya?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. And the understanding is that the chanting basically makes us to become authentic human beings. Authentic human beings in the sense that the chanting, see, this is to be understood from the point of view of, say, criminology. Now, according to the general theory of crime propounded by two criminologists, Gottfriedson and Hitchie in 1990, the general theory of crime stipulates that all crimes and antisocial behavior or sinful involvement are due to low self-control. In other words, we execute the will or the dictates of our mind and the senses to fulfill our sinful desires because we're not able to control or to check. We lack self-restraint. And this is not just a criminology theory, but also in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that one who is able to control the mind and the senses will live above problems, will live a life of freedom from sinful involvement. Now, how does sinful involvement come to take place? Because we may know that, yes, I need to control myself, and we don't have that impetus or that ability to control ourselves. Now, one of the positive side effects of the chanting is that it helps to promote our willpower. Willpower is the ability to be able to have self-restraint or self-control or control of the mind and the senses. Willpower. People may know that this thing is detrimental. People may understand that this act will land me into a problem. Yet they do it. They don't have strong willpower. In the Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned that Arjuna asked this question to Krishna: what is it that is responsible for making us to act against our will, against our better judgment. And Krishna responds that is due to lust. Kama, Esha, Krodha, Esha, Raja Guna, Tamobhava, Mahasano, Mahapapma, Vidyanam, Ihabarinam. So, yes, it's due to lust. But when we're chanting, the lust is transmogrified to love for Krishna. That same element that entangles us in executing sinful desires is transformed into love. That is the beauty of the chanting. The chanting, the purpose is to attain pure love for Krishna. Krishna Prema Pumato Moha. The chanting is a therapy. Just like every therapy has side effects, like chemotherapy has side effects. Yes, it will deal with a particular problem, mitigate the problem, but it has side effects. The side effects of chemotherapy could be very, very ugly, very, very devastating. But the side effects for this therapy, this spiritual therapy, the Hare Krishna mantra, they are very, very good. So one of the side effects is that it allows us to develop strong willpower to resist the temptations. Yes, the temptations might be there, but the willpower helps us to resist those temptations. So yes, the chanting helps us to resist the temptations. There are also things that even those who are non-devotees can do to be able to protect themselves from the evil influence of Kali Yuga. But in most cases, we'll find that what people do materially to protect themselves, for instance, they know the law very well. They know the law on this road, on this space, go by 65 miles per hour. They've seen it. It's written on the road. They know. But the speed, they go on 70 miles per hour, and then they got arrested by the cops. And they got to pay fines. So we may even know that this is not good for us, and we do it. But if we engage in sadhana bhakti, we engage in chanting, especially chanting in the early hours of the morning before we go out, that will authenticate our humanity. That will help. One of the side effects that it helps to authenticate our humanity. Humans can follow laws. Humans can follow the Constitution. Humans can follow the road traffic edicts if they are authenticated humans. In other words, if they have real values, real transcendental values, they don't need a police to check them, to tell them, hey, you are wrong. They understand. If they are wrong, they will pay a price, and therefore they follow the laws. This is due to strong willpower. And the chanting helps us to develop strong willpower. Yes. So we see people like, people who have been chanting and they never get, look at the case, look at the life of Narada Muni. We never hear Narada Muni being indicted. No. What is his main business? Chanting Krishna's names. So, yes, the chanting helps. There are scientific results, scientific evidence that shows how the chanting helps to protect us from criminal intentions. I conducted the research in 2021, and had it presented at the World Academy of Science, Engineering, and Technology in London on June 28, 2021. And that research was about how chanting the Hare Krishna mantra helps to prevent fraud. Fraud is a crime. Financial fraud is a crime. A crime is even worse than sinful desire, sinful activity. We call sinful activity, but the crime is against the law. You may commit sinful activity and you are not arrested by the police. Maybe you commit a crime, you'll be arrested. So the chanting, it has been shown scientifically. I conducted a phenomenological study, hermeneutic phenomenological study, and that was the result. And that research paper was published in the International Journal of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering, not in the Journal of Religion, not in the Journal of Philosophy, in the International Journal of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering. So the chanting has been proven scientifically to prevent crimes, to prevent sinful activities. Yes. Any other comments or questions? We have about six more minutes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you. I have another question, which is how can we expect our spiritual life to unfold when the years go on? I'm now 22 years old and just in the beginning of the practice, and so I wanted to inquire what I can look forward to.
Yes, you're gonna be a Paramahamsa very soon. If you see consistency. Consistency is one of the major facilitators of spiritual growth. If we are consistent in doing what we are doing in devotional practice, we will be growing astronomically. See, it's a proven fact. When Prabhupada came to the West, especially in the 26th Second Avenue here in America, and the people he met, some of the people he met were drug addicts. They were pot heads. But the chanting, the process of spiritual evolution, transformed them to Paramahamsas. So you are young now, you are engaged in devotional life. Very soon, you're going to be a Paramahamsa. All right. I think that we have another 4 more minutes. Anyone else with another question?
Yes, I have a question. Nandarani Mataji has sent it to me.
Okay.
So it says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj and dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So do I understand correctly that self-discipline, it's a skill that you can develop? And what should we do with devotees which are weak from the basic start with their willpower, that they are very much conditioned by their karma from their past lives. That is already, you can see in their current life, and you can see in their natal chart that they have this kind of, difficulties. So should we tell them that they have to work even harder? Is that so?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for this question. When we see a devotee who is having some challenges in terms of willpower development, in terms of being able to control themselves, first we have to see how we have to strategize ways to help them. You see, we are a family. I mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama evam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana, that Everyone is his parts and parcels. So we are a family. A family member is having some difficulty. What do? We lean in some support. Yeah, so we try to help this devotee who is having some problems in terms of willpower development to control themselves and to develop a strong sadhana. We can do this in several ways. We can also be friendly with them so that as they come close, they will have a better sense of belonging. They will have a sense of security that somebody loves them. And you see, that very idea that someone loves me in this moment, that gives that devotee some impetus, some internalized courage. It gives them emotional courage to struggle harder. We don't realize sometimes how friendship can transform people's lives, can transform situations, even very saddening situations, to a glorious end. I'll give you an example. If there are some experiments that have been conducted, say two people have the same problem and they underwent the same surgery in the same hospital. Now, one of them, he's been visited by many friends. The other one is not visited by many friends, by friends. And the one who is being visited by many friends, very quickly, his wound, his injuries, they got healed, and he's discharged from the hospital. The one who did not have friends, he stayed there far longer than the expected time, because that lack of friendship or lack of love in their life creates some type of a disharmony, it creates some type of disharmony and self-pity that prolongs their healing process. So yeah, when we find a devotee who is having some problems, we should create some friendly relationship with them, and that in that way we'll have the opportunity to be available and advise them on how they can help themselves in their devotional practice. We may have good intentions, but if we are not friends with the person, whatever we tell them, they would look at it as if we are trying to control them. Yes, this is the situation. Well, we don't want to be controlled by anybody. And so that is something that we can do. We see a devotee that has some challenges in their sadhana. Yes, we should help them to grow in whatever capacity we are, whatever ways that we can. Again, thank you for that. And I think that our time is up. We'll have to adjourn this meeting.
Харе Кришна. Спасибо большое, дорогой Махарадж, что утоляете наш духовный голод.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for fulfilling our spiritual hunger.
Thank you for thanking me, Nandarani, and everyone who is watching or listening. All right, so we'll see you guys again and very soon. Okay. So for those of you who do not know my present schedule, I'm in London right now, and I'm leaving in London on the 29th to Switzerland. On the 6th of February, I'll be leaving Switzerland to India. I'm going to Vrindavan. I'll stop over in Delhi 2 nights to rest, and then go to Vrindavan on the 8th of February. And then I will leave Vrindavan to West Bengal, Calcutta, on the 11th of February. When I get to Calcutta, well, then within the unfolding days, coming days, I'll be able to know how many days I'll be staying in Kolkata before going to Mayapur. But my mind is already in Mayapur. And my Kolkata friends, they're agitating that, I left them for a long time, almost 9 months.
9 месяцев.
You want me to stay for a few nights with them before I can go into Mayapur. But my mind is already in Mayapur. So that is a brief on my present itinerary. Again, thank you everyone for participating in this program.